So in the last election, we had 4 new states legalize marijuana. We had California, we had Nevada, we had Massachusetts, and we had Maine. And all of these states together combined for about 50 million people. Now, a lot of people are focused on Canada because Canada is going to pass legislation soon to legalize marijuana. Well, not soon, but in a year or two, they're probably going to pass it. And Canada has 35 million people, so it's going to be a pretty big industry over there, but I feel like people don't attribute enough focus to states like California. So the states that are going to be legalizing it by next year are going to put about 50 million people in an area that has recreational marijuana legalized, and that's going to create a pretty big industry. And I created a small list of 5 stocks that are going to probably benefit off this, or at least they can benefit off this. Please keep in mind that these companies are risky because nobody really knows who's going to benefit off this. It's really difficult to find the winning companies in an industry, but these are the companies that I think at least have a lot of potential to succeed. But the first one is going to be Cannlabs. So this company is focused on testing marijuana, and that doesn't seem like a very big deal, but there's a pretty big mess in Canada right now with Organigram and Metrum because they had a lot of recalls. And if in the States they're going to be growing marijuana for 50 million people recreationally, well, not 50 million, but a lot of people, they're going to need to test it for pesticides, for quality of some sorts, and a small company like this could potentially expand its business off recreational fairly significantly, and it has a very small market cap, only 16.5 million, and something like this could grow fairly significantly once legalization goes through. Now, it did peak after the elections fairly significantly because I'm not the only one who realizes this. A lot of people believe this would be true, but they pulled the trigger too soon, and now the company is kind of falling back down because it's not really doing anything. Laws need to be put in place that will actually get the industry going, and then this company might start growing and getting more business. But it's almost down to its original levels, so you could buy it fairly soon at 24 25 cents a share, and I think it's a pretty good deal. I think there's some potential. Today it went up 10% almost, so that's a lot. Next up, we have Kush Bottles. Now, this is not a very small company. It's worth $105 million right now. So it's not exactly a penny stock company, but it's still close enough. But this company is focused on supplying bottles and all of that type of stuff to the industry. And this might not seem like a big deal, but whenever you consider that this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that pretty much everybody is going to need some sort of bottle or container to put it in, and that containers are pretty much last on everybody's lists in terms of what to manufacture for yourself. We're not going to have a lot of companies who are going to instantly get their own packaging. They're just probably going to buy it off a company like this just because it's easier, and these guys have already precautions for children, quality, and stuff like that. So the company is already fairly pricey, but it's already making money, which is good. And I mean, pretty much everybody's going to need packaging. So a company like this has a lot of potential. I'm not exactly sure how much of its future potential is already priced into the stock, but it can definitely grow. Chart is not available for more than a few months. Next up on the list, we have Rocky Mountain. This company is focused on edibles and drinks, and they already have some. So they've actually made a little bit of money in 2016. That's a little bit of a shady area though, because a lot of their income came from, what did it come from? Other income and expenses. I don't know where they got $6 million in other income, but they got $6 million in other income somewhere, and I'm not exactly sure where that comes from. But a company like this is good because the edibles industry is going to be pretty big, and if a company like this it already has its own stuff, but once everything gets legalized, it's going to have more products available. It's going to be one of the first companies that are going to have a lot of products available, and there's definitely a lot of room to grow. And after the elections once again, well, a little bit later than that, but this company is growing. It did spike a little bit, and now just kind of flat for the most part, but it spiked once before, and it can definitely spike once again. So, I mean, ideally you would want to get this company for a few cents a share, but If you get it for 11 cents a share, it's currently worth 81 million. So it could double or triple fairly easily in about a year, maybe two. It's not exactly irrational. This is not a United States company, but I thought I'd include it. Nutritional High, also one of those companies that deals with edibles, and these companies can be pretty profitable. So if you're interested, you might want to invest into something because this company can definitely benefit off of U.S. legalization of recreational marijuana. So check that out. Next up on the list, we have American Cannabis Company. Now, this company is focused on primarily helping other businesses get set up and get started and doing all of that, getting all the paperwork, getting quality, just getting everything done. And the nice thing about a company like this is that part of its business plan is to get equity from other companies. So if it helps a company set up, it might get like a 5 or 10% stake in that company that it helped. And over time, if they do this properly, they could potentially grow just from the stakes of other companies that they got. It's currently worth 31 million, about 32 million actually, and it already spiked once fairly significantly, but it still has a lot of room to grow. And this company heavily depends on recreational legalization, so whenever that happens, this company should spike again. And this is not exactly a penny stock company, but I thought that I would just throw it in here just because I think it's interesting. This is not part of the list, but I just threw it in here. But anyways, medical marijuana, a lot of people don't like this company because it's been pumped and dumped fairly heavily. Whenever there's any sort of hype, for some reason, people always go to this company, even though it only deals in medical stuff. But I find this company kind of interesting because they are the only ones that are really pushing towards Brazil and Mexico's market. They are the only ones who are really pushing their medical products into those markets, and those markets are, they're still pretty big. And if this company can get those markets to themselves for a while, then they can actually be pretty profitable. And they also have some experimental and some clinical medications that are going to be coming out in the next year or two. So it's an interesting company. It's heavily diluted, so a lot of people don't like it, but it has some potential as well. But anyways, I hope that was interesting. I hope that helped. I'll put everything in the description so you can get a look at it there, and good luck.